welcome again to another episode of New Paradigm. I'm your host, Samuel Benter. Inspiring interviews with inspiring people to inspire others. And today's positive quote is, "To hell with circumstances, I create opportunities." Now, I'm next to an individual, talented actor, comedian, and strangely enough, sports analyst, Mr. Frankie Clarence. So Frankie, how's it going?
I just want to say I'm very privileged to be here, to meet an inspiring person like yourself, to create opportunities like you mentioned.
Thanks, Frankie.
Produce something that a lot of people in the industry won't give opportunities to young generation. So thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to this interview.
All right, cool. Well, this is more of a conversation, really, Frankie.
Okay,
I remember I met Frankie. At first, it was at an audition, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, it was.
Yes, I remember this guy calling me at like 11 in the evening. And I was like, who is this calling my phone? And it was Frankie talking about, he's interested in this part that he saw online. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is really late, he's calling me. But hey, you're here now. You know, he's
fast
here.
forward a few years.
Fast forward a few years and he's here now. So Frankie, you've been on a journey, and I've obviously been witnessing this. And it's been inspiring to watch. I've seen your movement that you're making, and you're very outside of the box, which I like. I like people that are very outside of the box. So firstly, I just want you to tell everyone what exactly it is that you do with yourself. Like, what are you looking to do? And like, what's your mission?
My mission is quite simple, it's to be happy. And I want to bring that happiness and positivity to the world. I always felt that from a very young age, I always got a sense of satisfaction when I made a person smile and make them happy. And I always thought, okay, how can I bring that into a positive way or into a worky way? So I always enjoyed performing, I always enjoyed acting, and I led that to make it into a profession, because I feel a lot of people, for a moment, they got problems, whether it be debt, family issues, anything orientated. When they're watching you on screen, stage, or hearing you on radio, for that moment or period, all their problems are vanished. And I like to be that person that can get their problems away for a moment and just let them be happy for a moment. So that's my aspiration, is to bring everyone just a smile.
Mm-hmm. Well, he definitely does know how to make people smile. I remember a video I saw with Frankie, I don't know where he was, but he took off his top and he was by some kind of, was it a pond or something? Waving his t-shirt around, and strangely enough, it got a lot of views though, and it made a lot of people laugh. So it's kind of just reinforcing what you said.
Oh, you really are making me look bad. First calling you at 11 o'clock, and now running around topless.
It's all out in the open now, Frankie.
To be honest, I've lost how many times I've removed my top in public. So that one in particular, I was in New York at the time. I was doing a bit of acting workshops over there. And obviously I had a bit of spare time, so I went to where friends, some of the parts where the studio shot. And you know the opening sequence where they're dancing in the fountain?
Oh, that was it?
That was the fountain,
wow.
yeah. So I got very excited, being a very big Friends fan. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to, it's quite hard, I'm gonna have to dip myself in that water. So yeah, just a friend recorded it and got more views than I thought it would, so.
I think it's important that everyone sees people's progress and everyone succeeds. But I think what's essential for people to really understand is like what led a person to do what they're doing. Like, obviously, I only met you from doing the Mackenzies. You know, our relationship has kind of grown from that. But, like, what was life like for Frankie if we was to go all the way back down, let's say, coming from school up into the period where you're like, I want to start doing this? Like, what were those times kind of like for you?
It was very difficult. I wouldn't front upon that. I was raised and born in South Africa, which is a beautiful country, but at the time when it was just at the end of apartheid with the whole Nelson Mandela and the black and white segregation. So me being young, I was a bit oblivious to them situations that was going on. But looking back, I could see the struggles that my family went through. It was never a straight, plain sailing journey. And fortunately, my dad lost his job, which left our family in a bit of a financial crisis. So we thought, what could we do? We went into many situations, and we decided, you know, there's hope and opportunity for us in United Kingdom. And with education free as well, that would have benefited me and my two older brothers. So my family all shipped over here. Because we were financially broke, we didn't come here all at once. We came bit by bit. It was my middle brother, my mum came first. And being at a very young age, being without your mum was already a situation I couldn't bear at the time, which left me very vulnerable. That led me into being in the UK. And if I'm honest, I wasn't a fan of the UK for probably as recent as only 2-3 years ago, to be honest. Yeah. Although it gave my family opportunity, and that's what I'll be forever grateful for. Great Britain for giving me that. It's just a place where, you know, home is where your heart feels. And I just didn't feel welcome, or I felt like I was at home being here. So it was a bit of a tough time. Education wasn't going as planned. Careers for my family wasn't going according to what they thought it was. So it was a bit difficult, but, you know, it's a journey that makes a person. And the person that we all come through that, we've gone through the rains. Now my family are all having a rainbow at the moment, so it's a beautiful thing. But it's been quite difficult, and especially for myself. Obviously, I've got a bit of disability with my legs, and then obviously I had situations where I wasn't able to do what I would have loved to do, i.e. I wanted to become an actor. And my parents weren't as supportive for it. And my aunt, she was the first one to believe in me. She told me, Junior, whatever you want to achieve, make it happen. Me being a teenager, I kind of brushed it off. I was like, older person tell me X, Y, Z, which is normal for all of us. But sadly, a fortnight later, she passed away.
Oh.
Yes, so it just put a lot of things in perspective, made things realize that, you know what, you never know when a person's time's up, and you never know who you can appreciate. You take people for granted when they're there. So that put a lot of things in perspective. So a lot of people on social media know that my motive is make it happen.
Okay,
so,
well,
yeah.
I didn't actually know what was behind that, but now I know what that whole make it happen thing's about. And I've seen you wear a T-shirt that says that as well,
yes,
right?
I do, yeah.
So that's in memory of your relative, right?
Yeah. This year I've tried to make myself progress and not dwell on too much of the past, because I had a very close relationship with my aunt, and she was the first person who I was close to that sadly has passed on. And yeah, she just told me that. And I didn't really think it would become such a big thing. I just kind of kept it with my own story, but a lot of people can relate. The thing is, the word it can mean anything. So when I say make it happen, you can make whatever you want to achieve happen. And now a lot of people are inspired by it. I get inboxes from loads of people from all over the world, messages like in Vietnam, people telling me their stories. Never been there, don't know anyone from there, but the fact that we're so far apart, the world can come together when times are need. So it's good to know that I can inspire people through them situations.
And it's funny how, you know, you're saying you're getting all these people from different countries contacting you, and whenever it's something positive or something that's going to uplift another person, you tend to get a lot more followers, and people just, it's like they want that. They want it because we're surrounded by so much negativity all over the place. So when you're actually seeing something that's nice, or someone that said something nice, it does a lot.
It does. I just feel a lot of people, like, this is a really big world, but then people can really come together when it's a ceremony, on occasion, or when something happens. And I just feel that, because I'm more close at home for certain people, because I'm not Denzel Washington or David Beckham, I'm more of a person from humble backgrounds, people can relate to me. So when someone can relate to something, brings that more togetherness, and they can relate, and they start connecting with one another because they know this person's gone through the same situation I have, and he's still going. So just let people know that, keep going, we'll get there.
Keep going, we'll get there. Interesting. So I know you're an actor and comedian. So with that whole journey that you've been on, I know you've done some great stuff. And I do know I was put to shock some time ago when I just saw this post that was put up, and you'd gotten in a major car crash and you was in hospital. And that meant a lot to you, because I remember there was a video you put up whilst you was in hospital, and you was very, very grateful. Can you talk a little bit about that? I think that might actually...
Basically, I was coming back with a friend. I wasn't driving, I was on the passenger side, and yeah, I remember it was a night, it was about just approaching midnight, or probably 1 o'clock, so it was quite late in the night, and basically someone who tried to overtake got their bearings wrong, and they hit the passenger side, which I was sat on, and then we hit onto the pavement. So it was two impacts of one. And going through a state of shock and adrenaline, I was like, what the hell is going on? But when I calmed down a bit, that's when I passed out. And the scary thing was, I was gone for 30 hours, in a coma for 30 hours, but it literally felt like 20 minutes. Time really oblivious you in that. And I remember when I was waking up, I started thinking, okay, maybe that was just a dream. And then I woke up, I saw myself having a heart monitor on me, needles going on, and it was a very scary period because, well, it was scary looking back, but at the time, because it happened so fast, like I said, it felt like 20 minutes, and then I thought it was a dream. And then before you know it, you're in hospital, so you start thinking, what's going on? And I didn't know the Facebook post which you saw, I didn't know that existed. My cousin was the one who put it up.
Oh.
Yes, so I didn't know that existed. So when I woke up, I had well over 300, 400 messages, and you start thinking, and then the funny thing is, you only get those messages when it's either your birthday or Christmas, and this was in March when it happened. I was thinking, man, have I been gone that long? It's Christmas period now, so yeah, it was a very hectic period, and I was just very, very humbled by that video. Although I was medicated at the time of that video, but I was very, very touched because, like I said, going back to people messaging me from Vietnam, I got messages from all over the world. And yeah, I remember one guy saying that it's good to see that you're awake now. It's not good to see young people dying so early. I know you don't know me, but lots of love from Vanuatu. And before that, I never knew where the country Vanuatu was. It's one of the small islands next to Fiji, Samoa, very remote island. You start thinking, man, there's probably less than 200,000 people in the world, in that country. And then here he is hitting me up. So it's very humbling to know people care.
And it's very interesting when something drastic happens in someone's life, that's when people start to come out of the woodworks, people that know you and people that don't even know you. And why does it always kind of seem like a situation where people will only come together when something drastic is happening, whereas most of the year people are kind of just coasting, or it's like a high, or that's it. But only when something drastic happens is when people want to speak up. And I feel personally about this because it's like, let's say you know people, we all know people, but people will only kind of show you that interest when something bad, or even when something good is happening in your life at times. But other than that, it's kind of, well, where have you been? And it kind of relates to a lot of families when it comes to things like Christmas time. You know, that's pretty much, for some families, that's pretty much the only time you'll probably hear from certain family members, whereas throughout the whole year, it's kind of just nothing. So that, I think it's worth for the people at home to really kind of think about that, because you never know when that person's gonna go. That you might not even be sitting here right now.
Easy, yeah.
You know, so it really goes to show, like, do we really value our lives, and do we really value other people's lives as well? Like, that's a question to really think about. And I knew that when you was in hospital, you lost out on an acting role, didn't you?
Yeah, that was a really, really painful part for me because when I originally started acting, I always wanted to be a film star. I always wanted to be in movies. And the role which I got wasn't a movie, but it was for American Horror Story, which is a US and a world-renowned television show. I auditioned for it prior to, obviously, the accident, and I got the role.
Wow.
Absolutely charged. I was thinking, okay, I didn't think it was a big break, but I knew it was going to excel me to the next level. And I was so optimistic for it. Up comes the accident. And it was heartbreaking because I had to forfeit my position because I wasn't able. And it was really upsetting because I knew that it meant a lot to me because the period of casting, as you may know, is a long and open air. You never know if you get it or you don't. And the fact that I did, and I was ready to ship over to the States, my opportunity was there and just got taken away from me. It was really, really daunting. I was upset about that, but, you know, God works in mysterious ways. So it led to another opportunity.
See, I'm feeling inspired right now because for some people out there, if a situation like that was going to happen to them, they'd probably just quit and say, oh, forget it, well, that didn't work then, it will never work, and then they'll kind of just have that whole self-sabotage mentality stuff. But you persisted, which was more important, and you never gave up, and now you had another opportunity that came your way for something that you can benefit from.
Exactly that. To be honest, what I'm leading to the opportunity, but I also want to say that I was meant to be on crutches and unable for 3 months. Because my mentality was correct, and I want people to realize your mental state is very important. And because I had the support from all over the world, I was off crutches in 5 weeks.
Wow. So don't believe what the doctors tell you.
Exactly.
It's BS, because you can think beyond the matter. You can actually think about it. So it's what you think that counts. Forget accepting suggestions and opinions from other people. It's what you believe to be true for yourself. And if you believe you can get off something, you can. And Frankie is a great example of that.
Exactly.
Frankie, it's been great having you on the show. Do you want to just tell people how they can contact you, like your social media and stuff like that?
All of my social media, you can easily catch me, whether it's social media, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Frankie, that's Frank, i.e. Clarence, and I'm a living testimony. And just before we cover, I wanted to mention my aspirations was always to do movies. I got offered a role to do a TV show, which got taken away from me. But like I say, God works in mysterious ways. I kept on persistent, and now I'm gonna be in 2 movies, and I can officially say myself,
Wow.
there you go. So who knows, had that accident not happened, I may have not ever reached my goal. But now I've got to where I've got to be.
So, blessings in disguise.
There you go.
Remember that, blessings in disguise. Well, Frankie, it's been great having you on the show. There's just one question I want to ask you, which I ask everybody. If the human race was going to be extinct in 24 hours and it was down to you to stop it from happening, what would you do or say?
Peace, love, happiness cures all.
Simplicity. Frankie, thank you for having you on the show.
Absolutely.
We're coming to a close now. Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of New Paradigm. And if you know anybody that you feel should be in the seat right here being interviewed on New Paradigm, please email me at bentotalks@gmail.com. The information's just below your screen. So Frankie, I want to thank you. I want to thank you guys for watching. But stay tuned for Samuel's Knowledge Corner. The process of manifestation. Thoughts, feelings, actions, results. You cannot escape that equation. Thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to actions, actions lead to results. You cannot escape the equation. It is scientifically impossible to remove yourself from that equation. Thoughts happen in our heads. It's not a physical thing that you can see in front of you. Right now, you are seeing me on your screen, which is a physical thing in front of you. But hold on a second. The idea of what you see started from inside of my head. I saw it first, and now you are seeing it on your screen. My thought led to a feeling, which led to me taking action, and the result is what you are looking at right now. See, there is a process of manifestation. Thoughts are spiritual seeds, which are invisible because you cannot see them. As you can see from the diagram, you can see a physical seed planted in the ground underneath. That would represent your thought. As you see the germination of that seed and it's starting to sprout, that would lead to a feeling. As you see the other seed, where it's now starting to come through the surface, you're starting to see some action. And as you see the end result of that plant, you can see the result. See, most people, they will do thoughts, feelings, there's no action. They stop at the feeling side, say they're gonna do something, and then they don't do it. Why is that? I can't cover that in this video. But what I will tell you is, this is pretty much everything you need to know. Once you know and understand this and have this image in your mind, you will start to understand at an unconscious level that you don't consciously need to be aware of just exactly how you think. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know that every thought has a feeling, every feeling has an action, and every action will have a result. Hey, you're having results right now. If you look at the results, is it what you like? Is it what you love? Is it what you want? If not, then we need to go back into how the process of manifestation started, change the thought, change the feeling. That will create the action, you will have a different result. That is the process of manifestation.